So, guys, let's talk about the fact that there's a brain rot happening all over the world, like across generations. And I discovered this recently when I woke up one morning, I couldn't work. I couldn't even scroll my phone. I was restless. So I started looking for answers as to how did I get to this stage. And it led me down to doing a lot of research. And boy, one thing I'll say for sure is that we have like a serious problem right now. So I'm very sure that most people would have clicked this video before the video even ends because I don't edit my videos. I don't have retention edits. I don't have anything that's supposed to make you hook your attention to this video. In fact, one of the major reasons I make these videos is to make sure that I'm part of the people who's contributing to actively helping people. Well, I believe by maybe by storytelling. So the first we'll talk about now is let's talk about the history of attention spans and at what point did attention spans get so bad. So whether I would like it or not, right? If you look at the history of information and the way information has been passed, the first time information was passed at a mass scale was the printing press. So with the printing press in place, we had a situation where they could take one piece of information and distribute it to multiple people. So this time around, people could not have access. Mind you, before the printing press, people were forced to listen to listen and to actively get the information from one source. They were forced to be active when it came to consuming the content. The printing press came around, right? So everyone now had access to the information. Mind you, this has its benefits, but also has its drawbacks. So what that means is that why do I need to listen to somebody when I might as well get the information myself? Fine, which is all good. Back then, you could hear things of presidential debates lasting for 3 hours. All of a sudden, fast forward to a couple of decades later, we have the internet. All of a sudden, the printing press is a child's play. We have access to more information, but this time around, because we can no longer control the quality of information, things became worse. Now, fast forward to what? About two to three decades later, we have a complete disaster. We have a disaster to the point where, first of all, these CEOs of these companies, who I would say have thousands of engineers actively trying to get our attention, don't even use their platforms in the first place. I heard that the CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, doesn't allow his kids to go on his own platforms. What does that tell you? He himself knows the consequences. I mean, it's quite funny that a lot of CEOs don't even use their products, but yet they hire tens of thousands of people who literally they hook up machines to people's brains to discover the latest tricks to get us to stay on the platform. So what that means is these guys are basically using our primal instincts against us, all in the name of we want to just feel happy, all in the name of we just want to feel good. They are basically using it against us. And this is becoming so obvious, and yet we have completely missed out on a lot of things. So now, what makes things worse now is the fact that we literally have a generation called iPad kids. These iPad kids, I kid you not, if you think we have a problem right now, where we can no longer focus, think about what I'm going to experience when the iPad kids grow up. Because trust me, they are the ones who will reap the problems of artificial intelligence. We have AI problems right now, what everybody is screaming about. But I keep picturing what would these guys grow up? Yes, they may have to adapt, but I'm referring to their attention spans. I've seen a lot of problems, like literal problems on this space of the internet. So for example, the way we tell our stories is completely messed up. We have situations where we have less masculine men telling the stories of masculine men, and we think it does not shape the culture. I think I read in a book that the medium is more. I think I've been reading this particular quote that says the medium is more important than the message, because with the medium they can tweak the message. Think about the fact that you see people dancing on the road, and the people who are dancing on the road are controlled by algorithms. If you think about it, and give it a second thought, and you ask yourself, what's really happening around the world? Apart from that, I was listening to a podcast someday, right? And the anchor of the podcast spoke about the victim mentality and how on earth you will get to the point of becoming victims so well that it felt like there was a culture of trying to over victimize someone else. Like, okay, so I am more of a victim than you. I am more than a victim than you or something. So my victim story or my victimhood is worse than your story. So please pay attention to me. And we never saw these things as a problem because we forget to realize that the medium, which is the message, and the message that's being passed through on social media is barely ever in the interest of the people. Sometimes I catch myself scrolling, telling myself that I will leave my screen in the next 5 minutes. I'll leave my screen in the next 10 minutes. But guess what? 30 minutes is gone. Time I can't get back. And when I look back at what was I just watching, I can't even point out one single thing. That's why I have to actively come up with solutions, right? On how we can correct the act. Because though on YouTube you hear things like dopamine detox, what I say no is dopamine correction because the dopamine detox is a clickbait. Dopamine is not something that we should avoid, something that we should regulate to our advantage. And the first step towards fixing this brain rot right now is first be intentional about the content you consume. If you want to consume content, be active. Don't just go on a platform because you are bored. Go on a platform because you really, really want to enjoy something. And I think in this case now, right, I feel like consuming things intentionally and consuming them actively, go for quality over quantity. This is where things like 2 hours comedy shows come in place. As in, if I try to listen to Trevor Noah's like comedy show, 2 hours, 3 hours, does it have 3 hours? But basically, sit down for 3 hours and listen to comedy, not with your phone, and embrace how creative a comedian has to bring things together live to give people that experience. It's mind-boggling. So choose quality over quantity, and if you like to consume content, I will tell you to go for long form content instead of short form content, right? Second thing I'll give you is it's called environmental design. What that means is that your environment shapes you more than you even know. If you're the kind of person whose work requires you to do deep focus, maybe you do a lot of mental activities, you're in tech, you're in a creative space, you just need that space to think and basically at 2 to 4 hours to think. You need to set up your environment in a way that distractions become difficult. For example, keep your phones in the other room. Yes, I'm on social media as we speak. I'm actively trying to create content, but still, I create and I put my phone aside. I batch create, I bulk create, in the sense that I bulk create and I bulk consume. So if you're with your phone, right, and for those of you who work with your phone, put your phone on DND. To be very, very honest, you don't need up to 90% of the notifications on your phone. If it's not a direct message to you, why are you receiving it? Also, cut out the news because trust me, these news companies. I think I saw a particular video where I think Navarro African said that it is the media's business, right? Hold on, please. It is the media's business to make all of the world's problems your problems. But if you think about it, those problems are not your problems. For example, if I'm in Africa, I may sound wicked for this. What's my business with something that's happening in Syria? Why do I need to know about what's happening in Syria? 1,000 years ago, those things were already happening 1,000 years ago, and the guys in Nigeria never knew and they never cared. So why are they bringing these things to my attention? And the honest truth is that people don't realize that your power comes from your attention, not from your time. We keep hearing this thing over and over again that your time is money. Nope. Poor people focus on money. So what happens? The rich use money to buy their time. The rich protect their time. So what happens? They claim that time is the most important thing But one thing is, the most powerful people, they focus on people's attention. Because attention is a real scarce resource. If they can control someone's attention, then they can control their time. If they can control their time, there's a possibility of it controlling their mindset, which obviously trickles down to their entire life. So everything boils down to controlling your attention, which is, like I said, the most important thing right here. Your third tip here is to go on a stimulation fast. So it's that simple. Go on a walk, no headphones. Go on a walk, touch grass. It's basically good for touch grass. Do things in the real world, right? And I think, so speaking of stimulation fast, in any case where you can avoid the digital substitute, avoid it. For example, when it comes to talking to girls, avoid online dating. Go to public spaces. I mean, yes, that's a conversation for another day, but meet people in person. I know the dating scene has also contributed to the fact that we believe that if we have more dating options, the dating scene will be better for us. But now, that is far from reality. It is completely far from reality. The fact that you have access to more people does not mean that you have access to quality people. In short, you are more distracted, because these are people who put on digital personas. And trust me, these algorithms of these dating sites can inject bots into their platforms, and you will have no idea of knowing. Plus, when the age of artificial intelligence, bro, people are literally creating robots. Should I call it robot girlfriends, or should I call it AI relationship partners? That's how crazy it is. And with the fact that these things are beginning to create videos and beginning to look much more realistic, we're heading down a disastrous spiral. Where before it took a lot of resources, right, to build platforms to destroy people's attention. Now we have built the platform for a random dude in his apartment to create the same interesting and compelling stories and things to destroy the attention further. Then going on stimulation fast is in that point. So okay, sorry, I may have digressed a little bit. Be intentional. Have periods of your day where you don't consume anything. Go on an actual walk. No earphones. Trust me, if you do this consistently, one thing I will guarantee you is, regardless of the field you are in, one thing for sure is you're going to have ideas you never can get when you're being stimulated. So if you're at the gym, take off your headphones. Yes, it will feel boring, but at some point, you'll begin to see that it's actually not as bad as people think it is, or you thought it was going to be. And this is where, if you've ever noticed, right, speaking of stimulation fast, when you work out at the gym without any audio device, you are building what is called mind-muscle connection. And mind-muscle connection helps you to develop way more muscles than just lifting your weights mindlessly. So we have people who lift their weights with the intention of just being distracted. So when they lift their weights, they are distracting themselves from the pain. If they have loud music playing in their ear. But if you actually sit down, hold that bar, squeeze that bar and feel every muscle. And I'm saying this because it's scientifically proven that mind-muscle connection helps you build muscles faster and better. You're recruiting more muscles subconsciously when you are actively involved in your workouts. And the fourth and the most important point is be present, be mindful. When you are eating, right, eat without scrolling. Feel the food. Yes, I feel guilty about this, but I feel like I fall short of this from time to time, but it's getting better by the day. Feel the taste of that food. And trust me, one other thing I think we should talk about is the fact that our foods are becoming addictive by the day. Which, speaking of stimulation fast, try to avoid sugar. Sugar is also part of the problem, which I will discuss in a different video. How companies have weaponized our diets against us. So everything you've seen today, right, is the whole idea of the fact that we are supposed to be people who are supposed to enjoy from time to time, have really little pockets of enjoyment, of amusement, but companies have used that thing against us. And we are, quote unquote, amusing ourselves to death. So the entire point of this video is to tell you that you're not alone in this journey of, should I say, correcting your attention. correcting the brain chemicals in your head. You're not alone in it. And it's easy for you. It's not easy actually. At first, it will be very difficult. Trust me, it will be very difficult. But with the intention and the baby steps you take towards improving your life, you will get there at some point. So thank you very much. I know I kept on rambling here and there. I make videos like this that are unscripted and not attention hooking, so that we can get to come together, right, with nice attention spans and have healthy conversations. So I know most people would have clicked off this video, and maybe for every 1,000 people, only one person might have gotten to the very end. But you see that one person, you see you who got to this very end, you would think different than everybody else. You would be able to achieve more. You will be able to do more focused work than everybody else. I can say this to you because that's something that I've embraced. I've embraced the boring things. And one thing for sure is the boring things in life give you the most results. The boring workouts give you the best muscles. The boring food you eat gives you better health. The boring activities will make you sleep better, give you better quality sleep. So everything that requires long-term results always comes from the boring stuff. I really wish I include this particular part of this video at the beginning though. So thank you very much. And I think I'll leave you with this idea from Naval Ravikant that says the fruits of modernity, right? The fruits of modernity bring the problems of modernity, obviously, I'm paraphrasing. So you cannot enjoy the fruit of modernity and not get the illnesses. Or how do you put it? But basically, it's like if you want to enjoy the modern ways of consuming content, the short-term content, then you have to take up the consequences. But I say nope, you don't have to, because you should not sacrifice quality over quantity. So thank you very much. Kindly share my video with someone who you know will find it of great value. It's actions like this that help the channel grow and that help the movement actually to grow. The movement is simple. We basically want men to become strong again, to become great again. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.